Hello and welcome back to the Drake and Josh podcast. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Trevor.
And today we watched Mindy Loves Josh.
Which is just an awful thing, apparently.
What?
Like the whole, according to Drake, it's just
is it like saying it? Yeah, so this is the next day after the previous episode. We only recorded one episode.
Last night, yeah.
Last night.
Yeah, we got tired.
Well, it was a late start. Usually when we record much earlier. Mm-hmm. And we get like 3 backlogged. And then we start fucking around.
But I didn't get here till late because I was at work.
Yeah.
And then we ate and played Life.
Yeah, we played Life. It was a good time.
Drank a bunch and then recorded and we're like, wow, tired.
Yeah, so this morning Trevor had to go to work again, so he came back over so we could record some more before he goes back up to Dade City.
Yep, at least one more.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
So we can get him in the backlog before you inevitably have to do a few things in the next couple of weekends, I assume.
Who knows?
Yeah, so the episode was solid. I enjoyed it. Mindy was finally back.
Yeah, after hearing literally nothing about her.
After a hiatus, again.
It's weird that they've been dating this entire time and we never, ever hear about her.
Yeah, when it's not a Mindy episode, there's really no signs of Mindy.
Other than, occasionally we'll hear, and Mindy this. It's like, oh.
Sometimes, yeah. Very rarely.
It's very rare. Like a steak.
So it starts off, what is the opening scene about?
The opening scene is about...
Before the
how girls are complicated or easy, depending on who you're talking to. Josh says girls are complicated because he had a girl in the 5th grade or 6th grade or whatever who said she wanted to date him, and she didn't. She just wanted his ding dongs.
Yeah, I think it was
out of his lunch.
Yeah, it was some other snack, some fake snack,
some sort of yeah.
I forget what it was called, but
she got fat because of it, apparently.
Yeah, he said she has big pants now. And then Drake was talking about kissing sisters or something like that.
His girl said she had a crush on him or wanted to go out with him, and she actually just wanted to make her boyfriend jealous. And he was kind of like, all right, cool. I'm
like, fuck it.
Game to be used. Why not? And then whenever she got back with her boyfriend, he started making out with her sister. And he said the sister kissed better. And
then at the right before it ends, he's like, I wonder if they have a third sister.
Yeah.
And then it cuts into the main storyline where Mindy and Josh are working on their science fair project together.
Exactly, because they're dating.
Yeah, they're dating, so they're like, we don't want to do separate projects. We want to be able to work on it together for whatever reason.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like you never see anybody else there, though, working in partners. Like when they're at the science fair, they're all alone. Everybody's standing by their projects by themselves.
Because it seems like it's an optional thing.
Yeah,
so
definitely optional.
Who wants to team up for an optional science fair?
The only time I can remember doing a science fair project, I had a partner. I think.
Really?
Well, no, I remember one where I had a partner at the very least. I think I only had to do a science fair thing twice, though.
I only had to do it once, and you got extra credit for doing it, so everybody did it. And it was not partners. But I did an experiment about how does caffeine makes plants grow faster.
Does it?
My results said yes.
But what does reality say?
I don't know.
What does real science say?
It seemed like it was working, but also I had a very small sample size, which was
impossibly small.
Water, decaf coffee, and caffeinated coffee.
You put coffee on the plants?
Yeah.
It didn't kill the plants?
No. Suppose it seemed like the caffeinated coffee plants grew faster. Really? It seemed like it.
It seemed like it, yeah.
Which kind of makes sense in a way, maybe.
You think so?
Caffeine opens up your blood vessels, right?
Do plants have blood vessels?
No, but they have the ventricle system in them. I think it's called a ventricle system. And so, if it opens up those to allow more nutrients and water to flow, then maybe, I don't know.
Hell yeah, dude.
Whatever.
I like the science.
My plants, I think at one point, all of them died. So
that sounds right.
I just said that it worked. And then I did decent on science fair.
I think I did something with batteries and wires. I couldn't tell you what the project
cool.
was. But
that sounds fun.
But I remember I had them. I have no idea what the fuck the project was.
Interesting.
It was in like 4th grade.
We also did another. Okay, I do remember something I did with a partner.
Okay.
Where I had a little model catapult, and we did an experiment on like, does more rubber bands actually make it go farther?
Does it?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Why wouldn't it?
I don't know.
So that was
too much tension. It just slams it into the ground.
Just snaps. It absolutely implodes the catapult.
It could.
It's dead.
Crushes it.
Hardcore dead.
Yeah, so they're working on their project, and it turns out they're trying to build a hyperbolic photon cannon, which is like, what the fuck?
How are these high school students getting a hold of this kind of equipment?
Yeah,
They know how to make some sort of military grade future cannon.
Yeah. Yeah, Josh has finally abandoned his love for magnets.
In favor. Well, there's probably magnets somewhere inside of that photon.
You think there's some sort of... You've been working with magnets. You probably know.
Not like that.
You know magnets.
I know magnets a little bit.
You're a magnet scientist.
Magnicist. It's my official title now. I am a magnicist. So
as they're working on the thing, she says... I don't actually... Well, my next note is that Mindy won the past 5 years. Does she says that during that conversation,
she says
right?
it while they're talking about...
why they're working together?
Whenever Josh comes back in, because Megan told him that his bike was getting stolen and left.
Yeah.
And then whenever Josh comes back in, like, no one's stealing my bike. Megan's like, I know. And walks away.
Yeah.
Mindy's like adjusting the photon cannon for like different megahertz or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I thought we agreed on 50.
Oh, right. That's when
and
she
she's
said
like, can you trust me? I did win the past 5 years.
Yeah,
and
which is a lot of years in a row.
Hey, now, you don't respect me.
Yeah.
Which she probably doesn't.
Well...
She loves him, but she doesn't respect him.
And that's where they decide to build separate cannons so they don't argue.
She suggests to build separate cannons.
So they stop arguing. They don't like arguing. They're like, we can argue and kiss more.
Argue Kissing. Less and kiss more.
Yeah.
Which I don't think either happened.
And Drake eats Megan's big cookie.
Yeah. And then she's like, hey, I want that website that Mindy was looking at for weird skin diseases.
Yeah.
For why? Who knows? We'll find out later.
For the B plot line.
That was a good B plot line.
It was a solid B. So then Mindy and Josh, after they decide that they're going to do separate projects, Mindy's got to leave because it's curfew time, baby. 10:30. Got to go home.
Got to get there.
So they start walking towards the door, and I forget what leads up to it, but Mindy...
She asks, are you okay with doing separate projects?
Oh, right, yeah.
Even though she suggested it. And then pushed it. She's like,
yeah.
Are you okay with it, though?
She wants to make sure.
Are you sure? And it's like, if he had said no, she probably would have been like, well, we're still doing it.
You think so?
I don't know.
I doubt it.
Maybe not.
So then Mindy says that she loves Josh.
And he just freezes.
Yeah, and he says, see you in chemistry.
See you in chemistry.
And slams the door in her fucking face.
And then immediately turns around and does his classic, like, hard R Drake scream.
So he runs up to Drake, and Drake is just like shooting cans, I guess, with a slingshot,
which is cool.
He's trying to get his aim down.
He got 2 out of 2 before Josh walked in.
And then Josh is like explaining the situation, and Drake is like, fucking what? And he hits Josh right in the eye with the slingshot.
Josh rolls over backwards on the couch.
Yeah.
It's very good.
There's a lot of good physical comedy that happens in that scene. Because right after that, Drake starts slapping Josh after Josh says that maybe he does love Mindy.
Just smack. And
yeah.
Like, but I do. And then smack. And he's like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
your cheeks make different noises depending on which side you're slapping.
Yeah.
He starts just keep slapping him back and forth like, oh, yeah, getting a musical rhythm going.
Because Drake is trying to tell Josh that once a girl says that she loves you, it's time to cut and run. He's like, the easiest way would be to fake your death, but their parents would be upset, and you'd have to move to a new state.
There's no way that would be the easiest way to fake your...
That's the cleanest way, dude.
The cleanest, for sure.
Yeah, and he said the other way is that you could get a sex change operation.
But then you have to go through all the operations yourself and just...
And later on, when Josh is like trying to come up with things to say to Mindy. That's like the last one that he says before Drake runs in the room. He's like, Mindy, I'm in the process of becoming a woman. So the reason that Drake was running in the room was because while Drake was sleeping, Megan
found online,
painted his fucking hands.
Found online about some weird skin disease that turns your hands and feet a sickly green.
Yeah, it's called dermatomaculitis.
Thank you. Which is just skin, because derma would be skin, right?
Yeah.
Temecula, what is...
Green
skin disease. It actually does nothing. It just turns your hands green.
Yeah, well, hands and feet.
Yes.
A sickly greenish color, and the only ways to cure it, according to the website, is many painful injections into the hands and feet, or
hyperfolic acid.
Yeah, which can be found in lizard urine. You got to dunk that shit in.
So, of course, Drake's like, let me not tell my parents about who have probably really good health insurance.
Yeah, he's because Josh wants to go tell the parents.
Yeah.
Drake doesn't want any part of it. For whatever reason. We can't figure that out.
Probably because he doesn't want the injections, but also, like, you have a really rare, awful skin disease. Go get those injections, man. Also, stop touching shit. He's just touching stuff.
Well, it didn't say that it was, like...
contagious?
Yeah, that you could get it.
Well, how else would he have gotten it?
I don't know. You can get skin diseases from all sorts of things.
Probably touching something.
No, you
or
think
brushing
so?
Up against something?
No, not necessarily.
I mean, unless it's like genetic, it could be genetic.
Could be cancerous.
Cancer.
He's got green cancer disease.
He's got green hand and feet cancer.
Fuck. That's something I don't want.
That's not great, but yeah. So they figure that out. Oh, when he runs in the room with his green hands and feet after Megan has dyed them, Josh is like, "Let's look it up on what'swrongwithmybody.com." And Drake, he types it all in, and Drake's like, "What?" And he's like, "I have it bookmarked." It's like, why did you type it in then?
Yeah, he could have just clicked it.
You didn't need to type in anything if you have a bookmark, dude.
Yeah, even if it's bookmarked, it'll probably autofill if you just put in like the first letter.
What?
Yeah.
Just the word what. Of course, I guess there's probably a lot of things that Josh searches for the word what at the beginning.
Probably, yeah.
What's wrong with my body? What's this weird rash? I can't think of anything else.
Right. I didn't take any notes from this scene, but after that, they're in the school hallway,
yes.
And Josh's pants the zipper keeps being down even after he fucking zips it up like 2 times.
It's so good. He goes and he talks to Mindy. He's like, "Hey, sorry, I don't want to say it unless I know for sure that I'm feeling it."
Yeah, and she's like, "That's fine. We'll freaking think about it over the weekend, and we'll talk about it later."
Yeah,
But it's the last weekend before the freaking science fair.
Science fair is on Monday or something.
So Drake is like, dude, she's trying to fuck with your head.
Well, Drake is also holding a box of lizards.
Yeah, they're all stacked on top of each other.
A bunch of bearded dragons in a case.
Yeah, he's got like dishwashing gloves on because he's trying to hide his hands.
Well, also, that's probably more sanitary that he should have those on. And Josh is like, "So when do you get to pee?" And Drake's like, "Well, that's up to them.
Yeah,
they decide." Also, would lizard urine be that neon green?
I have no idea. I've never seen lizard pee before.
I feel like it wouldn't be.
I think it would take an eternity, though, for how much he actually gets in the end.
He gets so much. But anyways, Drake...
Gallons.
Yeah, definitely gallons. Drake puts the idea in Josh's head that Mindy is okay with the fact that he's like not saying it back because she only said it to screw with him.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, so he wouldn't focus on the science fair.
And it's proven, in quotes, by the fact that she walks by them at the end of that scene with a bunch of boxes full of parts for her Photon Cannon.
It's going to be a busy weekend. Bye.
Yeah, and Josh is like, motherfucker.
He's right, even though he's never right.
Yeah. So then it cuts to the science fair. They both have their big-ass fucking Photon Cannons. But before they get to show off their cannons, there's the watermelon guy that's being graded. He has a watermelon lamp, and the judge is pissed because it's the second year in a row that he's had it. But the guy's like,
seedless.
Yeah, he's like, it's seedless this time. So he gets fucking DQ'd, which I'm saying this is bullshit because how many years in a row did Josh have his big magnet?
He loves his big magnet.
But they didn't DQ his ass.
They did not. Maybe they instated the rule.
Because of that?
Because Josh kept bringing back the big magnet just in different iterations.
The watermelon lamp was kind of cool.
Watermelon. How does that even work?
I don't know.
That I guess
what's the science?
It'd be the same as like a potato because you have to put the copper and zinc rods in a potato, and it's the reaction between like stuff. I think it's parts of the zinc rod coming off and traveling towards the copper rod through a liquid.
Hey, I believe you, man. I do not know science.
And I think that's how that creates. It's like the movement of protons from one material to the other through the liquid.
The movement of proteins
creates an electrical charge. So I guess maybe he's got some rods stuck somewhere in there.
Yeah, one's up his ass and the other one's in the bottom of the watermelon. So that guy gets fucking DQ'd.
It does.
And then Mindy gets to test out her photon cannon, and she's got a piece of paper on a metal
really
pole.
Interesting display thing.
Yeah, it's all clipped together, so it's very flat, nice flat surface. And she fires her, and it leaves probably like a 1-inch hole.
Like a golf ball sized hole.
Yeah,
I would say.
in the paper. And everybody's like, wow, very nice. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but it's starting to thunder.
Jeez.
So I don't know how that's going to sound. It might sound, you probably won't
ominous.
hear it. Probably won't hear it,
It's going to sound really ominous.
I feel like they won't.
I'd be saying it's not going to be able to be heard.
No, they won't be able to hear it.
Well, just cut all that out then.
No, you leave it in.
I'm sorry.
Trevor loves that guy.
I love it. It's a good gag.
Yeah, so then Josh gets to do his test of his photon cannon.
He's got a 1-inch piece of plywood.
Yeah.
1-inch thick.
1-inch thick piece of wood. And he fires his off, and it leaves probably like a basketball-sized hole in it.
I would say so, yeah.
And the guy like sticks his head through it, and he's like, that's the most impressive scientific wood burning I've ever seen.
Which is pretty much a lot of science. Like,
yeah.
Can we make a hole in this item? Yeah. How? Science.
And it's just insane that it's just a military-grade weapon.
That's straight up a military-grade weapon. Like, you just scale that up, and you're blowing holes in ships.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. So then they easily give the first prize to Josh. Josh wins it finally.
And then becomes a dick.
Yeah. Because everybody goes because the judge is like, all right, now meet us in the next room for the annual
juice and pudding.
Yeah, juice and pudding or whatever the fuck. So everybody's pumped and they all leave, even the watermelon guy. Rip, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I keep getting distracted by the thunder.
Some serious thunder happening.
Yeah. So then
they
Drake,
all leave except Josh and
Mindy. Yeah.
Stay, and they
start chatting.
But while this is happening, Drake is at home. Because I think we cut to Drake at home before this.
I don't think so. I think it's all solid, isn't it? No?
No, I think before we even go to the science fair, we see Drake with the lizards.
Maybe. I definitely have a note gap, I think.
As do I.
But let's finish the scene, though, at least.
Yeah,
and then we'll cut over to it. So they're talking to each other, and Josh is being a cunt about how he won.
He finally did, and her plan didn't work. And she's like, what plan are you talking about?
Yeah, and he's like, you just said I love you to try to distract me so that you could win again.
And that's great.
And she's like, what are you talking about?
That's
That's
a solid
insane.
plan.
And she's like, you know what? I let you win, bitch.
And he's like, fuck you, no way.
Yeah, and she's like, watch this. And she like presses a couple buttons on her remote control for the photon cannon.
And like 3 extra prongs come out of it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's like the Death Star.
Yeah.
And it winds up and shoots a massive hole in the wall of the school.
Yeah, it's probably like a meter, like tall, like
3.5 feet.
Yeah,
in diameter.
It's big.
It's a big ass hole.
Yeah, destroys the wall completely.
Mm-hmm.
And then Josh is just like, wow. He's just like in shock.
Did lose, yeah.
And then she storms off, right? And then the scene ends.
Well, and the teacher and a couple other people.
Oh yeah, they poke their head through.
Look through the hole, like wow.
They still don't reevaluate the judgment though. They're like, we already did it. We were eating pudding.
Science fair's over. We gave out the prize.
Yeah. So then it cuts over to Drake trying to fix his skin cancer.
Mm-hmm.
With
that's
like
what it is,
like 4-gallon buckets of lizard pee.
Which also, thinking about it right now, he did not need that much pee. He could have just like got bags,
yeah,
and just like poured little bits in there and just kept it like real tight, close to his skin.
You think so?
So it's still submerged, but it's not like he has to have it with all that extra room around it.
I don't know. That sounds hard. You definitely need an extra person there to help you with those bags, or it's gonna leak everywhere.
I guess so, yeah.
You know, you'd need a second pair of hands.
We could do the feet first.
Yeah, but then what are you gonna do when you got?
And just have like the bags. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Yeah, you need it.
The hands. Fine. He might have needed, but he could have done that for the feet. He could have like used way less material for the feet.
Yeah. You worried about the amount of piss.
It's so much piss. And like what seems to be a day from those lizards. Is he just like pumping water into those lizards? Just
I don't know.
Holds the lizard and dumps water down its mouth and then closes it and puts it down.
Maybe the pee is diluted with yellow Gatorade.
It's straight up just yellow Gatorade.
So he dunks his hands and feet into it and he's sitting on the couch. Didn't turn the fucking TV on.
Nope. Looked at the TV and said, damn, I should have turned the TV on. And I think that's actually when it cuts to the science fair.
Yeah. But then...
After the science fair.
No, then does it cut to Josh going back to Mindy at the science fair?
I thought that happened after Megan.
Very last part? Yes.
Megan comes in.
So Megan comes in their room.
After Drake's been sitting there for a while without TV.
Yeah, just been hanging out with a bunch of urine.
It's so boring.
I wonder what the lizards are up to.
Probably still peeing into that because he had one of those big like water cooler jugs.
Yeah.
Where did he even get that? With like a tube running into it where the pee just drains from the lizard's cage right into the big water cooler jug.
You ever held a bearded dragon?
Yeah.
Are they cool?
They poop a lot.
Do they really?
We had my teacher in 5th grade had a lot of reptiles in the room, and I really didn't ever want to hold the bearded dragon. I held him a couple of times, but I never wanted, like, 'cause during movies, she'd be like, all right, who wants to hold an animal while we watch a movie?
Yeah, you just sit them on your head.
I would usually grab a skink or a gecko or something.
Why you guys have so many animals?
She loved them.
Yeah.
It was whatever.
That's dope.
We weren't allowed to hold the chameleon because he was mean.
Oh, okay.
But if I remember correctly. The bearded dragon, though, pretty much anyone who held him, either their desk or themselves would get pooped on.
Fuck.
And I'm not doing that shit. I'm not dealing with that. I would probably throw up.
Why though? Didn't you used to like always like eat and like play with cow poop?
It's different. Different. I don't know why it just is.
Yeah,
I didn't eat cow poop.
I was waiting for you to catch that.
Hold on. Yes, we had cow poop fights, but I never ate it.
When I was growing up, I don't think I ever had any teachers that had like cool pets like that. The only things I can think of is when we incubated chickens.
Cool.
And then when we had like caterpillars that turn into butterflies. That was the only thing that we did. With live animals that I can think of. I can't remember anything else.
We also had a pond out back with little fish and stuff in it.
Does that count though?
I mean, the Earth Force built the pond.
The what?
Earth Force.
Oh, okay.
It was the club in in elementary and middle school. Actually, maybe you could only be in it after 5th grade. Maybe that was it. I don't remember. Anyways, from 5th grade to 8th grade, there was a club called Earth Force, and we would like
Your
go
teacher
pick
named Captain Planet?
No. But we would go like to the classrooms, and we were the club that like did all the recycling stuff.
Yeah.
So we would go to the classrooms and pick up all the recycling.
Kids were just like fucking Earth nerds, and they'd chuck like a Mountain Dew bottle at you.
It was actually a pretty good club.
Oh,
because,
was it?
We got a trip out of it to go to Crystal Springs, which is where they actually,
to clean.
Yes.
Did you really?
We did actually have to pull hydrilla out of the water.
What?
It's an invasive plant species.
Oh. I thought it was like a monster that was living in the water.
A hydra. To pull the hydras out, it was ridiculous. No, the hydrilla.
We gotta get hydrilla.
Yeah, pull it out, put it in. We got to swim in the spring afterwards, though.
Nice.
It was really cool. That's where they pumped Zephyrhill's water out of.
Did you drink some of the water?
Probably.
Yeah. Was it good?
It's fresh, clean spring water, but also it's like there's a bunch of kids in it. It's like
pissing,
someone
shitting.
Probably peed in this water. But they pumped the water itself from lower, but you could see the big pipe where they like.
Did you try to swim into the pipe?
No, it wasn't open.
Let's get in there.
Let's be bottled water.
Let's be bottled water. That's what I want to be when I grow up.
I want to be bottled water.
That sounds like something that a dumb kid would say on like a PBS like documentary. I want to be bottled water when I grow up.
Oh my god.
Bottled water.
I want to be a bottle of water. Oh my god, it's raining now.
Looks like you're gonna have to stay here, Trevor.
I'll record another episode, I guess.
Oh yeah, we could. We'll have to figure out what we want to do for dinner.
I'll see. See what's up. Anyways.
Oh yeah, the podcast. So What's the next part?
Where are we at? Oh, right. So Megan comes in as Drake is sunking his hands and feet in piss.
Yeah.
And is like, oh, what's wrong? And he's explaining, like, I got this weird skin disease called this.
He's like, don't tell mom and dad, bitch.
Don't tell mom and dad. She's like, there's another way to prevent or get rid of that disease. And he's like, what? And she's like, don't eat my big cookie. He's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
She's like, I sprayed your hands and feet green while you were asleep.
And then
stupid asshole.
And then she pranks him by saying that he has something on his upper lip, and he puts the pee on his lip.
And then as she's leaving, he's like, hey, wait, did I get it?
Yeah.
Classic Megan, and then classic Drake.
And then it goes back to the fair, and Josh is coming back in the room all sad and shit. And he hands he puts the ribbon up on Mindy's Photon Cannon and hands her the big trophy.
Because she does deserve it.
Yeah, he's like, you deserve it. He's like, I'll win the blue ribbon when I deserve it.
And then they break up.
Yeah. Because
they're like, neither of them have ever dated anyone before.
Yeah, Josh is basically like, I don't know what love feels like. So,
which you guys have been dating for a while, according to the canon of the show.
But she's like, I don't know either.
She felt weird about it, but also, like, if he had said it, it probably would have just been fine.
Maybe.
And they could have. They're like, did we rush this? It's like, you didn't fucking rush it.
They rushed it, man.
Not Disney. Nick. Wow.
Can't believe you said Disney. Can you bleep that out? She's gonna bleep it out.
So Nick, I guess, is really pushing for some, like, slow.
Yeah, dude.
Steady relationships.
3 weeks into this relationship, and he still had to ask permission to hug her.
That's right.
I mean, that's good. It's consent.
It is, yes.
Hug consent?
But also,
with your girlfriend?
Like 3 weeks, and you have to ask every time?
Yeah, that'd be kind of brutal.
That's a bit excessive.
That is a bit excessive. But yeah, so they break up. Kind of sad. But they're like, I still want to be friends and shit.
And they go to almost make out right after they say, okay, we'll just be friends. It'll be great.
And then they almost hug, and then they end up just shaking hands.
Yeah. And then we cut back to the house, and they're studying together.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they almost kill that guy first.
Oh, yeah. There's the guy replastering the wall.
It seems like he filled that in that entire...
with plaster.
Giant hole with spackle.
Yeah.
That entire wall is just spackle now.
So he's fixing it up, and Josh wants to... He's like curious about her photon cannon. He's like asking her questions. He's playing with the remote, and it goes off, and it fucking almost decapitates the wall guy.
Realistically, because his head was
still there
in that hole.
He didn't move it quick enough.
No.
But it vaporizes the wall exactly what it was before.
Saves on props.
Yeah, and then the guy is pissed. He's like, oh, I'm out.
He just leaves.
Yeah.
Leaves that giant hole. Just put a window there. It'd be fine.
Into another room.
I think it's into the hall, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I assumed it was in the pudding room where the people were eating.
Could have been in the pudding room.
And then it does cut back to them at their house, and they're studying together, and Drake comes into the room, and he's like, wait, what is that thing doing here?
He's like, what do you mean?
The thing in the skirt. And he's like, we're studying. And Drake is confused why they're studying together if they broke up.
He's like, we're still going to hang out and be friends. It's weird. It's like, why can't we study? And Drake's like, and I'm the idiot.
Yeah, because he's like, you guys are going to hang out but not make out.
They're like, yeah, totally. It's not going to last.
And that's the end of that. And then the cut scene, the two end credit scenes
were phenomenal.
They were great. I really liked the first one, at least. Where their mom comes into the room and has like 2 buckets of the urine, and she's like, what were these doing in your room, and what are they? Be honest.
And then he starts to say something. She's like, really, what are they?
Yeah.
Lizard pee.
And she's like, all right, we're upping it to 2 therapy sessions a week.
It's like, Mom, Dr. Whatever makes me talk through puppets. It's like, wait, I don't know if he needs therapy.
It's really funny, though.
I feel like he's just an idiot.
I feel like they bring him to like a child psychologist.
They probably do.
And then what is the second one again?
Drake shows up at the science fair while Josh is tuning his proton cannon. And he's like, hey, and he scares him. He's like, I paid you $10 to not be here.
Yeah. I don't remember what the line was.
Drake's like, well, you got ripped off.
Yeah. 2 solid scenes.
Very solid.
I thought the episode was good overall.
Yeah. Wasn't as frustrating as I was expecting it to be.
No, I don't think it was. It had a much higher rating than the previous episode on IMDb. I don't know if I 100% agree with such a big jump in rating.
I'm not sure how much I really remember from the episode last night.
Well, I just looked at it. The IMDb rating for the previous episode had a 7.9, and this one has an 8.6 on IMDb.
I think I gave the
one
last night a 6.5.
Yeah, I think Abby gave it a 6. I gave it a 7. I know that.
I would give this one a 7, honestly.
You're giving this one a 7?
Yeah.
I think I'm also going to give it a 7. I think I liked it just as much as the previous one.
Wow, we agree on one. That's nice. It doesn't happen super often.
I think it's been happening more often with the most recent ones.
Because it's a quality season.
Yeah. But I think 7 is the solid number for this episode for sure.
I agree.
The Mindy stuff, I mean, I like having like overarching stuff. It's nice to have some of that.
The only thing that's kind of annoying about it is like it's overarching, yeah, but they also never ever mention it in like any of the episodes leading up. So it's like,
yeah, I mean, you can't mention it all the time though, because then you know.
Also you could, like, you could every now and then just be like, oh, like if Josh has to go do something, just be like going over to hang out with Mindy.
Yeah, I mean, with like a lot of classic sitcoms, the boyfriends and girlfriends of like the teens, usually they're there a lot more than Mindy has been. Yeah, you know,
Mindy's not a main character. She's definitely
she's a side character. So who do you want to shout out this episode?
Oh, that's a very good question. I actually didn't pull up the cast list already. Is
this a new writer? Scroll up. Arthur Gradstein.
Ooh,
what happened to Friedman?
That is a good question.
Interesting. New writer on this episode. Well, we shout him out.
Huh. Yeah. Arthur. Good job, Arthur.
Arthur Gradstein, written by?
Lou George, Mr. Farrow. It's not bad.
Not a whole lot of credits on this one.
Shout out the visual effects guy for the Photon Cannon effect.
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
David Van Ripper. Oh, that's a dope name.
It is a cool name. And I want to shout out the Foley artist, Tim Shilton. Sorry, I couldn't see what his last name was. Tim Shilton. Nice. Nice Foley work.
Good job, you guys.
I think the Foley was the slap because it didn't sound real.
Probably.
Yeah, probably a couple other things, but
I forgot.
The slap definitely was Foley.
I forgot when Josh also kills Drake with the slap after the slap thing.
Oh, right, to end the scene, yeah. He slaps Drake in the face and he falls to the ground.
It was a really good one.
Also, when it was kind of funny when Josh is first telling Drake what just happened, Drake like runs around the room, closes the door, and like closes all the blinds and stuff.
Someone's gonna see.
Yeah, frantically closing everything in the room.
Good physical comedy all around.
Yeah, there was some solid physical comedy in this episode. Overall, very decent. I liked it a lot. Still strong, season 4. Looking forward to the next episode. It's the one. Well, I mean, I think it's the one where they're like having like a competition, trying to like date people or something like that.
Yes, it is.
Who's got game? Got Drake. A good rating, a 9.1. Damn.
Wow. Yeah, Josh challenges Drake to see who can get more dates, which seems like an asinine bet considering Drake is Drake.
You never know though.
But also, like if
Josh is he's all thin now.
True, but also I don't remember if this actually happens because I don't remember this episode very well. I mean, if Drake has dated most of the people in the area, his
pool is smaller.
His pool is very small.
That's true. But we'll have to see in the next episode.
True.
Got any final thoughts, Trev?
Not particularly. It was all right.
Right on, brother.
I don't know.
Well, I've been Jacob.
I've been Trevor.
Go watch some Drake and Josh.